Zach Gagan, Drew Franklin, sitting here reading the box score from Kentucky's win over Bellarmine. A big win, got it done.
Nice.
We weren't sure there in the second half, looked a little iffy. Close game in the first half, lots of turnovers for Kentucky, too many turnovers. Pretty inexcusable offense early on, but if we're going to be negative, we'll give them a little credit. Second half, made the adjustments, looked much better. Defense holds Bellarmine to 41 points in the game. Kentucky still only scored 60, but the offense looked a little better in the second half. But Zach, that first half was, I'll just be honest, pretty infuriating. I mean, you could feel a groan in this arena from the fans of what we were watching.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're allowed to repeat some of the words that were said on press row up there, but it definitely wasn't the most enlightening 20 minutes of basketball that we've seen from Kentucky this year. Honestly, it was depressing, disappointing for a little bit. Am I allowed to say those type
You can say all those things. It's YouTube.
Yes, so it was no curse words, all good. It was, yeah, not exactly what you wanted to see. They picked it. Even the crowd energy was really what kind of, set it up, made it feel like it was just a bad offensive performance overall because the crowd couldn't get into it.
It's like an uneasiness, right? It felt weird in here.
Yeah, if they couldn't get into it, the best part of the whole first half was the halftime show, which is now 2 games in a row where the halftime show has essentially stolen the entire game, which congrats to, I don't know if we got a name on the girl who won the knockout this time around, but she, performed.
She's starting next game. She's starting in London.
She might have honestly been out there on the first half for us, but yeah, so offensively just was not anything close that we wanted to see. It was really just energy levels from the crowd, even to the players themselves. You kind of saw Oscar was getting really kind of upset, it felt like. I don't know if he was upset with himself or with the team, but just overall vibes not great for the first half on either side of the floor. It's not like Bellarmine was doing anything too extraordinary on defense. It didn't feel like it just really wasn't anything working for Kentucky in the first half.
I mean, Oscar, we love Oscar, play of the year. I mean, he was missing bunnies. This goal right here, he was right here and missing these.
He was as close as you were, yeah.
8 points, 12 rebounds, didn't get his double-double. I don't mean to be negative, they won, but there was a point in the first half. John Calipari, you're a Hall of Fame coach. You know more than I will ever know. It's not even close. It's stupid that I would even question anything you do.
But here he goes.
But I'm gonna, because I'm just confused. I think our viewers are confused. At one point in the first half, Xavier Wheeler, Chris Livingston, Damian Collins, and Lance Ware were on the floor. No offense to those guys. If we left right now and gave them a basketball, they wouldn't make a shot an hour from now. We had 4 players on the court that cannot shoot. That's been the complaint. It doesn't matter the individual people we're talking about. That's been a complaint with Calipari and these teams for a long time. And even though he did it briefly, I was livid seeing that lineup. Now that I got that out of my system, John Calipari, great job in the second half. Sorry.
I'll even go with some of the lineups in the first half. It wasn't even just the one you pointed to. I mean, there was constant 3 or 4 non-shooters at the same time. It felt like even Steven pointed out where the second one sub came in, another one was coming in right after. There was no opportunity for continuity. It just felt like he was just throwing things at the wall, seeing what would stick. Nothing stuck. But the more that we see some of these 3, 4 non-shooting lineups, the more it gets really hard to not just kind of scream and yell from the top up there. But I held back today. We'll see if it stays that way for the next couple weeks.
And that's the point of these games. I mean, it's Bellarmine. It's November. It is November, right? December soon. He is throwing stuff out there to try. And I did feel like he made way too many substitutions. It's like you can just sit there and let those guys go. But, he's figuring these guys out. He said after the game, he wants to play Chris Livingston a lot more. I don't really disagree, but he also admitted there's a problem of where to put him because you got to take a guy out. And I agree with that. I don't really know what you do with Chris Livingston at this point. I wouldn't mind him at the 4 and maybe a little small ball 5. I believe Kyle Tucker even asked if that's an option, playing top in there.
I'm not sure he gave an answer on that one
either. He did not. But it's clear that even though, we're starting to pick it up. You play Michigan Sunday, you've got UCLA Saturday after that. It still seems just throwing stuff at the wall right now to see what works out.
Yeah, and I'm not sure this is, what was the practicing? They've been practicing, I assume, right?
I hope.
So maybe they just need some more practice. I feel like we're about to go on an Allen Iverson rant or something with the amount of time we've been talking about practice. But I think the second half is where we can at least kind of talk about some good stuff.
It's not all negative.
Because if we want to step back entirely, the defense from Kentucky was admittedly good. Granted, you're playing against Bellarmine, so not exactly SEC caliber shot creators, but I will give them credit for chasing around and running. I'm sure that was annoying to do that for 30 seconds every single possession, but Bellarmine was not generating any good looks out of any of their ball movement. You can credit Kentucky for that. You can talk about how Bellarmine just didn't have the talent to do that, but I'm playing devil's advocate with myself here, but I was impressed with the defense and kind of the entire aspect in that end of the floor. But it was the offense that kind of, has me thinking different ways. But
The offense looked a little better in the second half, too. Got a little
did.
motion going. I mean,
last
61
12
points.
minutes. 12 minutes where they came alive.
We're not hanging this one on the refrigerator, but it did get better in the second half. I thought after the game it was very interesting. Cal went first, which this is year 13 for me. I don't know that he's ever gone first in a press conference. He's ready to get the hell out of here. But he did start with very nice comments about Bellarmine and how they were snubbed from the NCAA tournament last year. The negative in me wants to be like, why are we talking about that right now? But it was really nice of him, and you could tell it meant a lot to Davenport, because when he took the podium second, I thought he was going to cry. He got choked up about how John Calipari is the voice of college basketball and what that meant. Then Scotty Davenport, maybe the longest away coach press conference we've seen here, had a lot of good things to say about Kentucky. They've obviously just played UCLA and Duke. He said Kentucky's as good as anyone. I mean, those are two of the best teams in the country. So I really liked, not many people care about press conferences, but I thought it was cool to hear from Scotty Davenport, and I hope you all, when you're done watching us, that'll be on our channel too, go watch that. But lots of comments from him after the game, have a lot of people talking.
Yeah, I was kind of same with you with when Cal started opening with, I was like, all right, maybe we should talk about the game a little bit. But when Scotty came in and you could tell how appreciative he was of Cal doing that, I was like, all right, I understand. And I loved Scotty's entire interview. That guy he's passionate.
Yeah.
It sounded like if he just started banging his fist down, I would have followed him right behind to wherever they're going to play next. I'm sure they're playing another top 25 team next
They
week.
play the Warriors Wednesday.
It feels like it at this point. They're going to go back to the West Coast. But yeah, post-game press conference was one of our highlights as well today. So if that tells you where we are at right now.
Yeah, we don't get much out of these games. Well, we don't need to get anything, but the players don't get much out of these games. North Florida, Duquesne. I think, what are we doing? But this one in particular, with the way they move the ball, I do think Kentucky can learn a lot defensively, staying alert as it gets down to 5 seconds on the shot clock. I'm sure there were moments on tape that Cal will get to call guys out for losing their man and getting beat. There are some teaching opportunities here, just not the scoring output we wanted from a November Tuesday night game in Rupp Arena, but such is life. We're moving on. London on Sunday. I am not going. You're not going. Behind the camera, Steven is going. He'll be there with Miss Tyler with lots of coverage from London. Cal was talking about the team might get out and do some fun stuff.
What do you think that might be?
Nothing, to be honest.
You don't think so?
Maybe go watch the World Cup, pub.
I'm not sure
I don't
what
know.
They could do, really.
That's a long way to go to play Michigan, but that's a conversation for another time. I don't want to be negative again. They're going to beat Michigan, and you're going to tune in right here again if you want to hear us talk about that one. But for now, obviously, not lots to say about beating Bellarmine. First half sucked. Second half, they made adjustments, so we can take that home with us. For now, we'll say goodbye from Rupp Arena what are we doing? Want me over here? Where are we going? We'll say goodbye from Rupp Arena. Drew Franklin, Zack Gagan, go Cats in London. This is KSR on the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, comment, do all those things. Go Cats.